Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Uh, as I said earlier, I might go live again. Well, here we are. So, update on the update. Turns out the hiring event interview thing I was invited to today was canceled. I'm not even sure how those things work. But essentially, what happened is I got an email asking me if I was interested in talking to them about the position. I responded, but it's hard to tell if it's a one-person thing or like a webinar kind of thing. And I guess it doesn't matter because it was canceled. And now I have a little brain fog because I tried to lay down and take a nap. And that did not go well. This heat is just too much. And now I just don't feel great. So here we are. I did get some more documentation from my former employer and my insurance, so I'll have to look through all of that. I know earlier I brought up the COBRA, so that's a good thing. In case you missed my earlier live, COBRA is basically where they allow you to continue your insurance benefits. And my employer paid for 3 months. So my coverage basically stays the same until the end of October. So I am fortunately not without health insurance. And I do have an upcoming dental appointment, which I will thankfully get to keep. So that's where we are on updates. And I don't have anything new that happened today. But I thought maybe talking about the job market a little bit more, the job fair. I know earlier I mentioned some jobs that I saw at the job fair, which may or may not have been appropriate. There was some child care for like $14 an hour. The law enforcement. There was like a part-time weekend marketing kind of thing. But let's talk about the job fair itself. Through the state of Arizona, you did not have to pre-register before you got there. However, what we did have to do was register when we got there. And I say we because I met up with a friend who also recently lost her job. And so we thought we'd meet up and go, explore together. And, excuse me, I'm still waking up. So we got there and someone came around while we were waiting in line. Someone came around with a QR code. So we scanned the QR code, put in our information, our name. I don't remember if we had to put in our social security number. It's through the state. So I think we just had to put in our name and some other basic information to let them know who's attending, kind of thing. So we got through that process, got signed in using our phones. It was super simple. Just scan the QR code, enter your information, confirm it, and you're in. And then the whole room was lined, as one would expect, with tables, and then a uh, a square of tables in the middle of the room. So you had the perimeter um, and the middle area, and they gave us a list. Do I have it? I might have it. That's not it. So I thought I had here. They gave us a page that had all of the employers that were on site that day. And so what I did was I took a moment to go down the list and mark the ones that held the most immediate interest for me and seek them out first. And then and instead of just, sometimes you get somewhere and it's fun to just kind of wander around and see what's there. If you're at like a festival or a convention, and I wanted to be, when you're doing those things, it's for fun. I wanted to be more organized. So I took a minute, scanned the list of employers, marked off the ones that I wanted to seek out first, picked a couple that I could just completely exclude right off the bat, like the um, social work driving one. That's not for me, not in this Arizona summer heat. I kind of ignored the law enforcement ones until I passed the booth. When I actually got to their booth, it was more engaging than I expected. And that's when I learned they had non-sworn officer positions available. And I did take a few minutes to talk to the guy. So that is the other important part about going to a job fair, is the networking portion. You actually get to see people who work for the company, and they can tell you in person things that you might not necessarily see when you're looking at a job description online. And they can tell you about positions they have available that you might not have thought about, or you might not have seen in your job searching. So those are some benefits. One really important thing about the job fairs also is appearance. Now, when we were there, my friend and I, we dressed businessy. We put on our corporate attire with our fancy shoes and business skirts and office appropriate clothing. We did see several people walking around in their weekend casual shorts and maybe jeans and and t-shirts, and depending on what kind of work you're looking for and what kind of connections you're looking to make, that might be appropriate for the kind of work we were looking for. It's, if you're going to make a connection, people remember you. If you see them in, several events across a period of time, they will remember if you're the person who shows up dressed to look for work or dressed for hanging out at the park with the kids. That's something that can be noticed. So my career coach actually told me very specifically to dress up. Wear your business attire, wear more comfortable shoes than what I did, but office appropriate wear. Be polished. That's the short version. Be polished. If you're in jeans and a t-shirt, tuck the t-shirt in. Still have your hair and makeup done. If you're a lady or a makeup wearer, and if you don't wear makeup, that's fine too. But the point is, be polished. Have a finished appearance, because people will remember you. If you show up with with bedhead, and you're disheveled and wrinkled, you're not going to make a good impression. And when you're looking for work, making an impression matters. And we love to tell ourselves, and we love to talk about how we don't care what other people think of us, and it doesn't matter what you look like. Bottom line is, the reality of the real world, people care, and it can affect your ability to get a job. Someone looks at you and they see that you are disheveled, unkempt. They're going to translate that into, what kind of work is this person really going to do? If they can't be bothered to comb their hair, can they be bothered to put the attention to detail into doing the work? It seems unfair, and it might be in some cases. It's still the reality of the situation. So at the job fairs, the point is to make connections, build a network, be seen, and that means, being recognized at the next one you go to, and the next one after that, and the next one after that, and building relationships with people along the way. So that's something that I actually give a lot of thought to. So that's what we did. Take the best version of the resume that we can, that would apply to, across the board, a broad range of jobs. Now, when actually applying for a specific position online, as we've talked about before, applying online affords you the opportunity to review the job description, compare the description to your resume, and make adjustments as needed. At a job fair, you're looking at a wide range of opportunities and options. So being prepared that way with my base resume I felt was the best way. I didn't give it out to anyone though. I mean, keeping it completely honest, I did not give my resume to anyone on site. I took their information and came home and looked up the jobs to apply on that. And most of them, that's what they wanted you to do anyway. So it may not always even be necessary to have the resume with you. So I may not take my resume the next time. However, they did also give me a calendar of upcoming events, whether it's they have interviewing workshops and resume workshops. And let me grab the calendar. Let's see. So, uh, job interview practice is something that they had on Friday. Um, Today was a virtual orientation for job search assistants, resume writing, resume lab, um, all things that I'm already getting through a paid service. Uh, but not everyone has that as an option. There are lots of options through the state. So they are offering the resume lab. Um, Again, tomorrow's pretty much the same thing, virtual orientation, um, job search assistance. And where is that? Is that the same? That might all even be at the same location. And then we have, um, let's see, what's this Wednesday is Spanish resume writing. So take the calendar if you go to a job fair. Take the calendar. And also some of the jobs some of the jobs that were there, I didn't talk about this earlier too much, but there were basic part-time weekend jobs for people that, are just looking for a little extra, or, you might already have a full-time job. The window place, they were offering 15 hours a weekend to set up and basically promote their business. And they wanted people who would work 3 weekends a month. So for some people that, don't need the full-time thing, that might be an option. So there was also a job, kind of a social work kind of thing, where basically you would have um, an assigned list of kids in either receiving assistance, or I'm not sure how they qualified them, where you could go to their home and go in and do a set of specific activities with them, whether it was uh, playing with, a certain thing. I didn't really get enough information because I knew it wasn't a job I would be able to take, but it sounded interesting. So if you love kids and you love social work, that kind of thing is something you might be interested in. And they were at the job fair. So I wasn't sure what to expect. Um, I thought it might be kind of like career day at school, and it kind of was. Um, but some of the jobs were things that I would never have thought to look for. And I am thinking outside the box a little bit to consider some of those jobs that I wouldn't have even known to look for. So um, that's where I'm at on that. It turned out to be worth going. Obviously, I didn't get a job. I didn't really hand out my resume. I will still take a copy of my resume the next time I go, just in case. But I I really think the strategy is to get their information and come home and do the research and figure out which jobs are a better fit. So then, after I got the information on the ones that I was interested in, and then got information on the ones that I didn't expect to be interested in, then my friend and I went and got lunch, and we sat there and kind of went through our lists and talked through the pros and cons together of some of the positions, whether it was, the job description was great, but the pay wasn't. Could it still be worth um, looking at? The pay's great, but the job looks terrible. Maybe we don't understand the job description enough. Let's talk it through and go home and do some more research. So we did that. I came home, talked through the best options with my partner, and picked two that I would apply for. Um, and then that's the end of the process on that one. There is another job fair. I believe it's on the 14th. On the okay, so that's not on this calendar, um, but it is on the state's website. So I will be going to another job fair, being prepared, uh, and having been to one, I can be even more clear in my mental organization. Now that I know what to expect and how it works, I can get signed up or signed in, um, maybe earlier if that's an option, so that I can just kind of be ready to go the second I get in line. Um, Again, have an idea of what jobs I want to put the most attention in getting information. And then, hopefully I'll start hearing back on my online applications. Whew. This is, it's hard. It's almost like being in school, trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. That's kind of how I feel. I'm still disappointed and devastated and sad about losing a job I loved. And at the same time, the whole world of options is open to me. And I'm starting to think a little more outside the box. Um, potentially multiple part-time jobs for a while until the right thing happens, um, or maybe I'll take a job that I'm unsure about. I don't know. We'll see. The options are open, and it is a little bit like that school, end of school experience. What do I do from here? How do I find that right job? So the job fair, I definitely feel was beneficial, even though I knew going in I wasn't going to walk out with the job. Um, it definitely opened my eyes to opportunities I didn't know were there. And running my resume against the job description has also been very helpful. I've mentioned that numerous times. Anything to not get kicked out by the AI. So, you know. Anyway, so that's where we're at. Thank you for joining me for another little afternoon update, and I will see you next time. Stay blessed, and I have some upcoming ideas for the channel, which hopefully will give me take me in a little different direction here as well. So, in the meantime, have a wonderful afternoon and watch out for the next update. Have a great day.